Snowy slopes. Snowy slopes are mountains that decided looking pretty just wasn't enough. They wanted to kill you too. These peaks are packed with powder snow that'll freeze you to death without leather boots. Igloos hide villager mad scientists experimenting on zombie buddies. Only rabbits and goats call this place home, with the latter making it their mission to headbutt players off cliffs. Want a mountain view? Well, enjoy breathtaking vistas with the constant excitement of plummeting death or hypothermia. Windswept hills. Windswept hills are what happens when Minecraft's terrain generator has a drama phase. These biomes are all steep cliffs and floating islands that make no geological sense. They're mostly bare stone but hide emerald ore, the only place in the overworld where this villager-pleasing green stuff naturally spawns. Somehow, llamas wander these ridiculous slopes without falling. Building here means uneven surfaces but natural defenses and killer views. The constant llama screaming might drive you insane though. Windswept forest. The Windswept forest is a forest that decided it wanted better views. Here, the steep, dramatic terrain is completely grass-covered and dotted with trees that somehow grow on impossibly steep slopes, defying both gravity and basic root system principles. It offers high-altitude building with abundant wood resources like hillside property in a major city, but with better lumber access than should be possible. Windswept gravelly hills. Windswept gravelly hills replace solid stone with unstable gravel, essentially turning mountains into nature's prank. Mining triggers avalanches of falling gravel, turning simple resource gathering into a suffocation hazard. Despite this, they're valuable for players needing gravel for concrete or arrows. Only gravity-defying llamas navigate the terrain without triggering constant avalanches. Building here means constructing on foundations that might literally disappear, perfect for players who find regular construction a little too predictable. The meadow. Meadows are those perfect grassy hillsides near mountains, but what makes them special? Well, any tree that grows here automatically houses a bee's nest. Free bees with every tree. The flower abundance means never planting your own for honey production, while the flat terrain makes building simple. One of Minecraft's few biomes not actively trying to murder you. No exclusive hostile mobs, no environmental hazards, just flowers and bees living their best lives. Stony shores. Stony shores happen when mountains meet oceans and collectively decide sand is overrated. These rocky coastlines replace beach sand with stone and gravel, looking like the cover of a moody alt-rock album. Despite their rough appearance, buried treasure chests appear here just like on sandy beaches. Their vertical cliffs rising from ocean depths make for spectacular coastal builds, though construction is more challenging than on flat beaches. This is perfect for players who want dramatic coastal aesthetics without constantly clearing sand from their inventory. Savannah Plateau. Savannah Plateau is a regular savanna with altitude sickness. Elevated grasslands with acacia trees and yellow grass generated at much higher elevations with distinctive flat tops. Villages here adapt with unique architectural styles. Wildlife remains standard savanna fare, horses, llamas, and cows roaming the elevated plains, untroubled by the thin air. The flat terrain at high elevation makes these perfect for expansive builds with commanding views, plus warm-colored acacia wood that perfectly matches the landscape's natural palette. Windswept savanna. Windswept savanna is what happens when a regular savanna overachieves. Featuring extremely steep cliffs that reach astonishing heights, it combines yellow grass and acacia trees with terrain that defies both physics and logic. Sheer cliff faces suddenly transition to flat areas, creating natural floors for challenging but rewarding building. Villages somehow cling precariously to these slopes with unique structures. Perfect for dramatic builds with built-in defensive advantages, though you might want emergency water buckets for safe descent. Swamp. Swamps prove that valuable resources often come from unappealing places. These murky wetlands feature discolored water, hanging vines, and a perpetual green-gray filter. Blue orchids and lily pads add color while frogs hop through shallow puddles. Witch huts generate exclusively here, and slimes spawn naturally during certain moon phases. For alchemists, swamps offer the only natural location for brewing poison potions. Despite their uninviting appearance, they're like that sketchy convenience store with a strange smell. Not somewhere you'd want to live, but containing items you can't find anywhere else. Mangrove Swamp. Mangrove swamps are swamps with vegetation PhDs. These wetlands feature distinctive mangrove trees with elaborate root systems extending into mud-filled waters. The floor is mostly mud blocks, useful for pottery or clay conversion. Orange warm frogs hop around producing different slime ball colors when fed magma cubes. Unlike regular swamps, no witch huts appear here. The tangled roots make navigation challenging, but you get unique construction materials. The reddish mangrove wood with mud bricks creates an attractive palette despite literally being made of mud. Badlands. Badlands transform Minecraft's green world into a Monument Valley-inspired wonderland of red sand and layered terracotta in natural rainbow stripes. Despite their beauty, they're inhospitable. No passive mobs spawn, waters remain lifeless, and vegetation is limited to dead bushes and cacti. What they lack in life, they make up for with gold ore at any elevation. For builders, the natural color palette offers decoration without requiring dyes. It's like an expensive neighborhood with no grocery stores. Gorgeous, but requiring imports for survival. Wooded Badlands. Wooded Badlands answer, what if we took colorful badlands and added oak trees? These rare variants have the same striking formations, but with a twist. Plateaus topped with coarse dirt and oak trees instead of more terracotta. This creates a striking contrast between arid canyon walls and surprisingly lush plateaus. For survival players, Wooded Badlands offer Badlands beauty with accessible wood resources. The higher elevations with trees provide natural protection from hostile mobs that spawn in the canyons below. It's like finding an unexpected oasis, except these trees somehow grow on coarse dirt with no apparent water source. Eroded Badlands. Eroded Badlands are regular Badlands on energy drinks. Featuring towering terracotta spires shooting into the sky, these Bryce Mesa formations create some of Minecraft's most screenshot-worthy landscapes. Narrow towers, often just a few blocks wide, create natural mazes between spires that are beautiful but dangerous to navigate. Like all Badlands, they offer gold at all elevations. For builders, the spires present unique vertical construction opportunities, with many players hollowing the natural towers for multi-level homes with spectacular views. Difficult to develop, but offering such spectacular aesthetics that the challenges become worthwhile. The beach. Beaches are where water and land high-five. These sandy strips are the only place turtles spawn, which you need for turtle shells and potions. Dig for buried treasure with hearts of the sea and pirate loot. Sometimes underwater ruins partially beach on shore, offering easy access without diving. Beaches make perfect base spots with flat terrain and access to both ocean and land resources. Just light up properly unless you want drowned zombies as surprise house guests. Snowy Beach. Snowy beaches occur where beaches meet frozen oceans. Winter wonderland shorelines with snow-covered sand, creating a bizarre tropical Arctic mashup. Unlike regular beaches, turtles are smart enough to avoid hypothermia and don't spawn here. Despite this difference, buried treasure still hides in the snow-covered sand. The contrast between white snow and deep blue frozen oceans create unique coastlines perfect for winter builds. Practical players enjoy the same flat terrain as standard beaches, but without drowned spawns since the frozen ocean prevents their generation. Desert. Deserts are vast sand expanses interrupted by occasional dead bushes, cacti, or exposed fossils. Hidden treasures include temples with booby-trapped basements, wells, and villages with unique architecture. At night, husks replace zombies, inflicting hunger while being immune to sunlight. Deserts offer abundant sand for glass and sandstone for building, though the wood shortage creates immediate challenges. For builders, they provide flat, obstruction-free terrain for grand constructions, cheap land with vast potential once developed. River. Rivers are Minecraft's natural highways, cutting through other biomes to create waterways that typically connect to oceans. These narrow bodies rarely exceed 15 blocks in width, but can stretch for thousands of blocks. Salmon spawn alongside the occasional squid, while drowned lurk in deeper sections. Rivers provide renewable water for agriculture, natural fire breaks for forest bases, and convenient fishing spots without ocean dangers. Villages sometimes generate partially overhanging rivers with charming wooden supports underneath. Like historic riverside property, offering transportation access and resources, with the occasional drown trying to drag you underwater. Frozen river. Frozen rivers appear when rivers cut through snowy biomes, creating ice-covered waterways that transform river mechanics. The surface ice prevents water access without breaking through, but allows significantly faster travel via boats or running across the frozen surface. Beneath the ice, salmon and drowned spawn as usual, while rabbits and polar bears wander above. For practical players, frozen rivers offer ice farming, swift transportation across difficult terrain, and safe passage over water without boats. Like those Amsterdam canals that freeze only during particularly cold winters, temporarily transforming waterways into something magical with new possibilities. The ocean. Oceans are Minecraft's most expansive biomes, covering vast map areas from shallow reefs to deep trenches. These standard oceans support cod, salmon, squid, and dolphins in waters with seagrass and kelp. Dangers include drowned in darker waters and guardians defending their monuments, massive underwater structures posing serious challenges. Oceans offer unique materials like nautilus shells, prismarine, and buried treasure. Transportation requires boats or portal networks. It's like intentional waters, beautiful, resource-rich, but requiring special equipment to navigate safely. The cold ocean. Cold oceans feature deep blue water, signaling their chilly temperature. These frigid seas host less biodiversity but massive kelp forests extending from seabed to surface. The distinctive blue hue signals the transition between ocean temperature zones. Like all ocean variants, they generate monuments with guardians. Shipwrecks in cold oceans often contain different loot distributions with more maps and navigational tools, suggesting at these waters' treacherous nature for historical sailors. Cold oceans offer abundant kelp for composting or fuel with distinctive watercoloration for themed builds. The deep ocean. Deep oceans plunge the seafloor to Y-30 or lower, creating massive underwater canyons. Standard ocean mobs swim here, but the real danger comes from underwater ravines lined with magma blocks, creating downward currents that trap swimmers. Ocean monuments exclusively generate in these depths, their prismarine architecture looming from the gloom. These deep waters offer unique resources. Monuments provide prismarine and sea lanterns found nowhere else, while ravines offer renewable magma blocks otherwise Nether exclusive. Exploring requires water-breathing potions or enchantments. It's deep-sea exploration without the billion-dollar submarine. Frozen ocean. Frozen oceans transform maritime exploration into polar expeditions, with surface ice creating a solid boundary between air and water. They come in two variants: standard frozen oceans with flat ice sheets, and deep frozen oceans with dramatic ice spikes and icebergs. Beneath the surface, salmon and squid somehow survive while polar bears wander the ice above. Ocean monuments still generate in these depths despite the illogical guardian survival in near-freezing water. Resource-wise, frozen oceans offer ice farming and unique packed ice and blue ice from icebergs. Surface travel is faster than water navigation, though thin ice and open holes create hazards. Lukewarm ocean. Lukewarm oceans strike the perfect balance between temperature extremes. These temperate waters host abundant seagrass and kelp, providing perfect habitats for cod, salmon, and dolphin pods, though they lack the coral reefs found in warm oceans. For practical players, they offer abundant fish for food and sea vegetation for composting without the navigation challenges of frozen surfaces or overwhelming coral reefs. Underwater visibility remains excellent for exploration and resource gathering. It's like Mediterranean waters, comfortable, resource-rich, and lacking extreme properties. Warm ocean. Warm oceans are Minecraft's tropical paradise with crystal clear cyan waters offering unmatched visibility. These vibrant seas host the game's most diverse aquatic ecosystem, tropical fish in dozens of color patterns, pufferfish and dolphins swimming above colorful coral reefs found nowhere else. These reefs provide unique building materials in 5 different colors. Dolphins often lead players to shipwrecks or ruins when fed fish. Their only drawback is relative rarity, making these underwater paradises prized discoveries. Like expensive tropical vacation destinations, these are breathtakingly beautiful, exotic, and offering experiences unavailable in more common environments. Nether wastes. Nether wastes are the original Nether hellscape, netherrack landscapes with lava oceans and hanging glowstone clusters. Zombified piglins wander while gas float ominously overhead. What makes these areas valuable is their predictable mob spawning, perfect for gold farms using zombified piglins. They also offer abundant glowstone and quartz for redstone contraptions. Nether wastes provide straightforward navigation with fewer environmental hazards than other nether biomes. Like industrial wastelands, not aesthetically pleasing but highly functional for resource gathering and technical applications. Soul Sand Valley. Soul Sand Valleys transform the Nether from dangerous to actively malevolent. Soul sand and soil dramatically slow movement, while bone structures from fragments to enormous remains create an archaeological record of titan-sized creatures. Blue flame particles float alongside whispers and wails that create an unsettling atmosphere. Besides gas and magma cubes, skeletons spawn here, the only nether biome where they regularly appear. These valleys offer exclusive access to soul sand for mob elevators and soul soil for special fires. Navigation requires soul speed enchantment unless you enjoy moving at snail pace through nightmare terrain. Basalt deltas. Basalt deltas recreate volcanic aftermath with basalt columns, blackstone formations, and perpetual ashfall, giving everything a grayscale appearance. These treacherous areas feature extreme vertical variation, creating natural mazes punctuated by lava pockets. Magma cubes spawn at significantly higher rates than in other nether biomes. What makes basalt deltas valuable is their exclusive abundance of blackstone and basalt, building materials with unique properties unavailable anywhere else. Curiously, this is the only nether biome where bastion remnants never generate, perhaps suggesting areas too unstable even for piglin construction. It's like post-eruption volcanic zones, inhospitable but offering unique resources that draw adventurous miners despite the hazards. Crimson Forest. Crimson Forests transform the Nether into a bizarrely vibrant ecosystem with massive red fungi trees and a striking red landscape from crimson nylium to glowing shroomlights. The fungal floor sprouts strange vegetation like crimson roots and nether wart blocks. This biome hosts the highest concentration of hostile piglins alongside hoglins, the dimension's only meat source. These forests provide all components for crimson-themed building blocks, plus renewable food from hoglin hunting. Bastion remnants generate frequently here, making it valuable for treasure hunters despite the dangers. It's like forbidden jungles, visually spectacular, teeming with dangerous life, but offering unique resources unavailable in the safer environments. Warped Forest. Warped forests are the Nether's safe neighborhood, a bizarre blue-green landscape that somehow isn't actively trying to murder you. These alien forests have huge fungi trees, glowing shroomlights, and weird blue vegetation. What makes this place special is what's not here. No piglins, no hoglins, no gas, just endermen and striders minding their business. This safety makes Warped Forest perfect for nether hubs and highways. You get blocks for teal-themed building projects, plus endless endermen for pearl hunting. It's like finding a safe rest stop on a highway known for axe murderers. It's still creepy, but you probably won't die here. The End. The End is Minecraft's final boss level, a floating island surrounded by void where the Ender Dragon awaits. Made of pale end stone with obsidian towers topped by healing crystals, destroy these first, It hosts nothing but Endermen and poor life choices. After defeating the dragon, a bedrock fountain appears with a portal and pretentious poetry. The end offers exclusive materials, chorus plants, dragon's breath for potions, and the purely decorative dragon egg. Veterans transform it into Enderman farms or monuments to their dragon-slaying prowess. It's like an ancient battlefield floating in space where you fight a dragon with a diamond sword. End barrens. End barrens from the desolate outer regions of the End, creating buffer zones between island types. These minimalist areas feature nothing but bare end stone, with Endermen as the sole inhabitants. Despite their emptiness, End barrens serve a critical navigational function, helping players identify when they've reached less valuable regions. They contain little beyond occasional Ender Pearl collection opportunities. Their primary value comes from their role in end city hunting. When players encounter barrens, they know to search in different directions for more valuable regions. It's like empty transit zones, not valuable themselves, but serving as important navigational markers. End highlands. End highlands are the most valuable terrain in the End's outer islands, generating at higher elevations with both End cities and chorus plants. These elevated islands contain the dimension's most sought-after treasures, End cities with their shulker defenders, and ships containing the precious elytra wings. Chorus plants provide teleporting fruit and crafting materials for End rods. Navigation requires careful bridge building or strategic Ender Pearl throws to avoid the unforgiving void. For endgame players, Highland End cities become primary objectives for shulker shells and high-level enchanted items. They're like exclusive mountain retreats. They're difficult to access, but containing treasures that are worth the journey. And midlands. End midlands serve as transitional zones between higher highlands and lower barrens, generating at intermediate elevations. These areas can host end cities but lack highlands chorus plants, creating structures without the dimension's characteristic vegetation. For explorers, midlands represent second-tier targets, worth investigating for potential cities, but less valuable than highlands without chorus resources. Their distinctive elevation profile helps players orient themselves within the dimension's confusing geography. It's like transitional neighborhoods. They're not as desirable as prime locations, but they still offer valuable opportunities. Small End Islands. Small End Islands are the world's worst stepping stones. Tiny, floating chunks of endstone scattered between the main island and outer regions. Most are just a few blocks wide, floating in the void, and they're just far enough apart that jumping between them means death. Despite being useless resource-wise, these pathetic islands are crucial. They're the only way to reach outer islands without elytra wings. Crossing requires perfect Ender Pearl throws or boring bridge construction. Endermen occasionally spawn here too, because apparently tiny platform over infinite death needed a little bit of extra challenge. They're like treacherous mountain passes. They're not valuable themselves, but they're critical routes between different gameplay phases. And that's every Minecraft biome, from snowy peaks to ocean depths, fiery nether realms to the void-filled End. This blocky world offers incredible variety. Each biome has unique resources, challenges, and building opportunities that keep exploration exciting. So keep your food bar full and your sword handy. There's always another amazing biome waiting to be discovered.